symbolically placing the petition where the...
Wait a minute.
They're coming. Retreat, they're coming. They're coming. Do it again. Do it again.
Shameful. Shameful.
The gods are here. Finally.
Welcome to the Select for January 12th. And I see we have a lot of people here. No one has signed up for public comment, but I'm not going to make the same mistake I made a few weeks ago. So I'd like to get a sense of how many people would like to speak. I don't see anyone. Okay. So let me just then make a statement. We will then, once that statement is done, do I see someone wishing to speak?
Yes.
Okay, but I'll make the statement first.
Oh.
Okay, you can speak.
Wait, the statement is relevant.
Okay. What have we done?
Don't let her speak without the statement.
Okay. And I'll set out the ground rules for speaking, the same ground rules as the public comment that normally happens when people sign up. So I'm going to, here's my statement, and I'm going to apologize because I sometimes have trouble reading my own handwriting. So here we go. A tremendous amount of information and opinion has been shared with us and the community during last week's selectmen's meeting, on social media and elsewhere, following the reports of race discrimination made by Brookline police officers Zerai Misgun and Pilot and members of the public. These comments reflect a variety of narratives, emotions, and thoughts. I caution you that the comments you heard may not always reflect the whole story, and there are always two sides or more to every story.
What's your story?
Yes. What is your
We
story?
have a history of
Racism.
Racism.
You have a history of racism.
we have a history of
Covering up. And this is why we're here.
Would you like to
Because
listen
we
so
don't-
can
we-
continue
we-
your statement?
Many of the comments offered thoughtful and constructive suggestions and steps we can take as a community to move forward in a productive way. We will be considering these suggestions and others as we navigate through this together. However, as a first step, an expedited review of the town's policy against discrimination, sexual harassment, and retaliation will be conducted to ensure that it's capturing complaints within its scope appropriately. This will be a high priority and one that will be concluded in the next 30 to 45 days.
Mahon.
How many
Next.
investigations do you need to have? I mean,
Next, I will be addressing our efforts to return Officers Zerai Misgun and Pilot to their work as Brookline
It's not
police
safe, we
officers.
want paid leave.
We've hired an experienced and respected individual to investigate their complaints, and the town will be reaching out to the officers tomorrow to begin this investigation.
You heard from them
We-
directly.
The chief and their own union have offered their assurances, and yet they have not have elected not to tell us what makes them unsafe. We need
That's a
them,
lie.
we need them to cooperate and participate with this investigation so we can appropriately address their concerns. We are also offering formal mediation of this issue with a third party that they and the chief can agree upon, if necessary. This needs to occur without delay so these officers can return to work where they belong and where we want them. The officers are receiving pay right now,
Not true.
and that is my statement.
Really?
I got a $90 check this last
A $90 check, we have a 2-year-old baby.
So I'm not gonna pay.
$90?
Thank you, sir.
That's
That is
pathetic.
outrageous.
We have a
Outrageous.
family and a home and a child.
Okay, would you like to speak?
She's
She's
speaking.
I'm
Speaking.
speaking to you now, sir. Can you hear me?
They are being paid. That's despicable.
Okay. That is the statement,
Okay, this,
and we are proceeding with our investigation, and if I see no,
From a year ago, the same one?
Yeah.
What's different now?
And so if they go back to work,
our
Then what happened to
investigation
Gerald
is starting,
Alston
this
can
is
happen
not
to
a
them,
dialogue.
every
This is
single thing that
ridiculous.
they do can be misconstrued and interpreted. Maybe they should see a psychiatrist. You seem really angry. I think you're dangerous.
Okay.
Nobody watching. Can I make a comment, please, sir?
yes.
You have a question?
Can I make a comment at the podium?
Approach the podium if you want.
If someone would, you have 3 minutes.
Speak for more time. Let me make a comment.
Yeah, it does.
Evening.
Please identify yourself.
My name is Chapong Liu. I'm a professional musician based in Jamaica Plain, and I'm here to support these 2 police officers who are very bravely risking their careers to talk about something that our whole country needs to talk about right now. And there are a lot of people in this room who waited a long time to have a chance to make themselves known to you tonight. And there's anger in the room because, you know, we thought we'd start a while ago. But
No, we were noticed for 7 o'clock.
and I thought that I had the chance to speak.
Okay, I'm sorry.
With-
I'm
with the
sorry I interrupted.
Remember? Okay. So, I think Brooklyn has an opportunity to be a model for the rest of the country around this very deep, historic problem of racism, which is reflected the most dangerously when our armed, law enforcement does not examine it the most deeply. The police should be the people most well-trained in understanding racism in themselves and in their communities. Not the least, and certainly not the ones carrying the guns when they don't know that. And we see that all over the country right now. What's going on is a question that the whole country is grappling with. This is not just about Brookline, it's not just about Boston. And you have a chance in Brookline to make a really amazing move by giving these officers paid administrative leave, recognizing their bravery in stepping forward, and being a model for the rest of the country. So I wish you would consider that, your own legacy as selectmen.
I just wanted to.
Please identify yourself.
You
Oh,
know,
come on.
Mariela,
The TV audience may know.
you asked if anybody had a public comment. All of us are in the public comment. All of us are here, and you heard responses and questions to your statements about what have you done. And what you have done so far is absolutely not acceptable. We reject the investigation of an investigation. You heard firsthand the officers speak to you of what happened. You heard not only them, but a number of people who told you that they do not feel safe, and they do not feel safe by the police. For 2 officers from within the department to come and so courageously bring forward what has happened, telling you that they do not feel safe, and you relating and treating this like one more piece of well, you know, they'll be asked tomorrow. Somebody will come and we'll have this many days to do exactly what you have firsthand knowledge. So I do absolutely ask that you respond to what have you done. Put them on paid leave and clean house. And when I say clean house, is reject racist practices and make a message, a statement by acting on it, not relying on third parties.
Brookline Police, I just want to say briefly that, and I want to make this public for everybody here, including you. My own union spoke with me yesterday and informed me that Selectman Nancy Daly reached out to them and said, "Can you make a statement at last week's meeting saying that you were shocked by these allegations and you're shocked by these allegations of racial?"
How dare you!
My own union said that to my union. So that shows me that the chief dropped the ball and you're dropping the ball again. You will be held accountable for it.
That's
Hi, I'm Shipper Freewoman. I live in this town. And once again, I'm unimpressed. We sat 15 minutes. We had empty seats. To me, that bespeaks something. Empty seats of leadership. Empty seats. I called the police department to tell them how I felt, that the police should be put on paid leave. And the response was, "Well, were you at the speak out?" I said I was. "Did you speak?" "Yes." "Well, you had your chance to speak." The man did not even make the pretense of taking my comment. It was as if I had walked into his living room from off the street and told him how to raise his children. There was not even a pretense. You've heard this. I read the chief's article in the newspaper. It does not square with the reality of racism. My friends who have been made ill by racism in this town, I'm tired of it. The time is now for action, not words, not more studies and discussions that will go on forever. The time now is to act. And specifically, what do we want? What do I hear what people want? I'm speaking for myself. Paid leave. I want Mr. Alston to be paid for all the trouble that he's faced. I want an end to the police bothering, there was a young mother who was bothered by the police. I want that to stop. I want children to stop being harassed by the police. I want my friends to stop being stopped in cars because they dare to drive through this town. I want them not to come in and ask to see identification when a black man is sitting watching television in his own building. That's what I want. And I want leadership that is responsible to the public. You work for us. You work for us. The police are supposed to be public servants. You're not doing your jobs. Please do your jobs, and then you can feel good about yourselves. There's clear action that can be taken. I talk to so many people who say it's so complicated. Why is it complicated to give them paid leave? Why is it complicated that when a department head opens, that you cannot hire a person of color for that department? It's simple. It just has to be done, and I don't see that there's a will to do it. But the will is here from the people. So you can either do it or will do it.
Officer Prentice Pilot. It's a bit disturbing to me that I just heard you say that Officer Sabrai is being paid. Did anyone else in this room hear that? Yeah. Okay. And as I said in the last meeting last week, we're expecting an investigation from you guys into these allegations, and we're supposed to buy that also. I mean, you just told the public that Officer Sabrai is being paid. That's disgraceful.
It's a lie.
That's disgraceful. There's a whole lot more I'd like to say, but I can't seem to get past this non-truth that you just told to these people. That's incredible to me. So you're telling me that after, since December 7th, I'm now going to get a call from someone in the police department who's going to do an investigation, and what? And what?
You?
Chetna Mimi. I have lived in this town for 7 years, and when we were moving to Brookline, actually my husband grew up here, I am actually, honestly speaking, shocked at the amount of discrimination that has come out because of this incident. So these two officers are actually not, they haven't just done a favor but to town of Brookline, but they have added to all that's going on in this country right now. And if anything, with Martin Luther King weekend coming, you guys have a chance to show that we have moved past that time frame in this country where we don't have, all white elected officials running and telling people what is right and what they have done is the right thing. And we will do an investigation and we'll get back to you. Those kind of words have going around for a long time, and we are all very well educated people around here. Please prove that you and your town is actually as progressive as it is portrayed, and we will all appreciate it. Thanks.
So I'm going to make a statement myself, and I'd ask that you just let me get through the entire thing, and then, of course, you can react, and I'm sure you will. Like every community in every corner of this country, Brookline is imperfect. This isn't news to me, nor do I imagine it's news to anyone in this room. What has been revealed for many of us, or too many of us, including myself in recent weeks and months, is just how far from perfection the town is on matters of race. There's clearly a lot of discussion and angst that we've heard. Brookline may not be facing debates like the fate of the Confederate flag or police shootings, but that doesn't mean that the challenges in this town are not real, as uncomfortable as they may be to admit. I grew up in Brookline. I got involved in local politics and ran for office because I love this town, a love that comes from my life experience in a compassionate community where I have felt safe. To an extent I never realized before, not all my neighbors share my privilege. On a personal level, as a selectman, I'm deeply troubled by some of the information that Brookline has recently become public. I've been embarrassed by the related portrayal of Brookline in the press. The town we have read about in the media for the past few weeks is not the town that I know, does not reflect my experiences, my values, or my beliefs, and yet I know the pain that I feel pales in comparison to the pain that we've heard from so many of you. I will not stand for discrimination of the type that we've heard about, and I pledge to work to ensure that Brookline lives up to its self-professed ideals of compassion and equity for all. I look forward to working with all of you, activists, employees, town leaders, and my colleagues on the board to chart a meaningful and cooperative path forward. As you heard the chair say in his statement, the announcement that we made tonight is a first step, and I would expect that there will be additional measures and steps announced in the days and the weeks ahead, and I look forward to those announcements, and again, pledge to work to try and improve, to address some of the issues that we've heard come out over the past few weeks.
Paid leave, first step. Paid leave, first step. Paid leave, first step. Paid leave, first step. Paid leave, first step.
Paid leave, first step. Paid leave, first step. Paid leave.
Yes, sir. Please identify yourself.
My name is Kwame Morris, 17-year resident in Brookline, over 270 Buckminster Road, across from the Runkle School. I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York, and I was just listening to the gentleman speak, and it reminded me of why I chose Brookline to move. My wife and I moved from New York, from Brooklyn originally, and to tell you the truth, I chose Brookline because it had a very large Jewish population. And I'll explain to you, in Brooklyn, there's a saying amongst the Jewish population that if I allow something to happen to you, then eventually it's going to happen to me. So you think in an environment like that, you're going to be safe. At its core, this problem is a couple of young men who we've all decided, even you, are fine, upstanding young men inside their occupation. they decided in their job that their environment is abusive. What I hear from you is you telling them to go back into that environment. Now, in any other situation, this would never happen. Someone comes to you and says, a young woman, sexually I've been abused. There's going to be an investigation, but in the meantime, go back into that environment. In this case, it makes no sense to me. I know there's something that I'm not hearing, there's something you're not allowed to say, you're being sued, I don't know. This is wrong. They explain to you that the environment is unsafe. You don't know it for a fact? Okay, you're investigating it, okay. In the meantime, how are they not paid? I mean, that really is at the core of this, outside of everything else. In the meantime, how are they not paid? How can the answer be go back into that environment?
It can't.
I mean, if
That
you've
can't be
ever,
the answer.
if you've ever realized any type of true discrimination in your lives, you know that's wrong. And forget everything else. That is wrong. So, I'm hoping that this is all wrong. Somehow there's something I don't grasp, and that you're all going to come to reach that conclusion. If you don't, we've got to find a way to force you to. I don't understand it. My neighbors don't understand it. I told them I'm coming here. They don't know what's going on, but at some point it's going to reach everyone. It is happening. This is wrong. So I'm hoping you guys will realize that and do something. Because if you don't, we're going to have
so we can determine what is going on and follow due process. And this is a nation of laws that we need to follow. You, Ms. Ames, you have spoken already.
What about the part where you called the police union and wanted them to come make a statement? Is that a law? Is that proper procedure? Is that how things should be done? Is that appropriate?
That is a mischaracterization.
I bet it is.
So I have a question for you in front of the community. And I ask you to take a vote right now. And everyone vote for paid leave or not.
We're not taking a vote. It's not on the agenda.
Isn't that convenient?
And I'm going to.
You vote no.
I'm going
You vote yes or no.
I'm going to bring this to a close, and I'm going to move on to the next agenda. I see Mr. Conquest would like to speak, and then that will be the end of our public comment period.
Mr. Green,
You're
yes.
corrupt.
No, you're out of order. Please sit down.
Thank you. Isaac Conquest, 115 Tappan Street. You can see people are not going away, okay? And I've lived here for 30 years, maybe more, 1982, do whatever it is, okay? 33 years. And I have seen these kinds of forums or meetings where the Board of Selectmen have been challenged about racism in the town, starting first for me in, I think, 1987 with the Toby Miller case. And the Board of Selectmen have always very cunningly managed to sweep the issue under the rug. Okay? People aren't going away. That's okay? Now, for me, the hypocrisy of it is, of all of this, is that the town has agreed to host a Dr. King. Is that done intentionally?
Probably.
Somebody's leaning against the lights in the back.
Okay, I don't need lights. But the town has assumed the responsibility for hosting a Dr. King holiday, which is coming up next week. I think it's this coming Sunday. Monday. You can't host a Dr. King holiday celebration and try and feed us that you believe in all the things that he gave up his life for, and then continue to have the kind of behavior that we understand that these two policemen have endured, and want us to believe that you're sincere. There's a disconnect, okay? And for the sake of the children, the sake of the future of this community, the whole country is changing. And what happened and what worked yesterday and what worked 32 years ago isn't gonna fly. They were here last week, they were here the week before that, and if you don't straighten this thing out, they're gonna be here again and again, and I'm glad. I'm really, I'm pleasantly pleased. It's long overdue. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Anartha Pennant, and I'll just keep this short, but I lived in Brooklyn my whole life, and I've always dealt with racism in this town, and I mean, nothing's ever been done about it, and just today, what I'm seeing is that you guys don't really care. You haven't been doing anything, like this whole time. You know, we're just gonna keep coming back until you fix this.
Anyone else wishes to speak, you can do so after the end of the calendar. Now we're moving on to our normal business. We have people who've been requested to speak here, and in accordance with our normal business. And next item is approval of minutes for the January 5th meeting. Any corrections?
That's right, business as usual. Keep your eyes blind. Stay blind. Don't make any changes.
Start to recognize us as human beings.
Vote them all out. Get them all the hell out of here.
Recall.
Let them look for a job.
One who sat by the door.
What's the impeachment process?
The one that said,
You heard that, what? Sitting pretty, one.